1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. We could do a one note like this. The higher octave. We could try it in one position like this. Try a different position. Let's try a different position. Hey everybody, Gary here with Pal Music. I've got one camera today for this quick lick lesson, and we're gonna go over one of my favorite Hendrix melodies from Third Stone from the Sun. So this is not even the main part of the song. It's like just, it happens a couple times throughout the song, yet it's so memorable. I've heard so many musicians play this melody randomly, like in a solo or in a song during a jam. It's one of those melodies that once you learn it, it's just kind of sticks in your head. Hopefully you'll agree. I just want to interrupt the lesson for a second to extend a huge thank you to all of the Pal Music patrons at patreon.com/palmusic. Thank you for your ongoing support. As you're aware, the content I put out on YouTube is very high quality with fret live animations and all this visual stuff to help you learn, and some of these videos can take up to 60 hours to create. If you're interested in supporting the work I do here at Pal Music, please consider becoming a patron. As a reward, you'll receive Tab to go along with all my lessons. There's live weekly face-to-face small group video lessons, the complete fret live animations for all the videos I make. So check it out, patreon.com/palmusic. The link is below, and let's get back into the lesson. The first time the riff happens, it's with that bass line. But then there's a second bass line. The second bass line's more modal. It's just all on the E chord. And it goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try it with the wah-wah. One of the things that's so cool about it from a theoretical perspective is that it's in Mixolydian mode. So when he first plays it, the bass line is implying an E major to a B minor. One of my favorite chord sequences. And in Mixolydian mode, we could think of that as 1 major to 5 minor. If we relate it back to the relative major key, which is A, we could think of it as 5 to 2. Just 5 to 2 over and over. So if we're in A, E is the 5 chord, and B is the 2 chord. B minor is the 2 chord. But if we're thinking Mixolydian, we're thinking 1 major, 5 minor. And then this melody, beautiful Mixolydian melody. And Mixolydian mode's like major, but it has a minor 7th. It has a flat 7. So with that in mind, this is the note right here that makes it Mixolydian and not major. So if we're thinking we're in E Mixolydian, the flat 7 of E Mixolydian is D, right? Because it's a whole step away from the root. In regular major, we're a half step away from the root. So this note is what's going to define it as a Mixolydian melody. And when you first learn this melody, I recommend you just use one finger, just play the root note, don't play the octave. I'm going to show you the octave thing next. So we start off on this 11th fret, then 11, 9, 7, 9, 4, 7, 11, 11, 9, 7, 9, 4, 7. If you could sing it too, that'll help get it in your head. 11, doesn't have to sound good, I don't sound good. 11, 9, 7, 9, 4, 7. It's just to help build that connection. So that's kind of the first quarter of it. The first phrase, we could think. Down. Do, 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 do. Right? Second part, here's where it gets Mixolydian. And that's going to be 5, 4, 2, 4. And now we go to the E string. 5, 7. 5, 4, 2, 4. 5, 7 on the E. So that's the second phrase. Here's the third phrase. Very easy. I'm just adding the slides to make it sound more interesting, but you could just go. And that is on the E string, 9, 7, and then on the A string, 9, 7. And if we slide, 9, 7, 9, 7. So putting it all together, 11, 11, 9, 7, 9, 4, 7. 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 7 on the E, and then 9, 7, 9, 7. That's it. Here it is with the looper again. Now, you know, I'm doing some things to bring it alive. A little vibrato. I'm sliding into the notes. Sliding back. That's legato, where I only pick once. These are kind of things that'll make it sound a little more vocal, like you're singing it. All right, so now we've got to add the octave. Now, an octave is just a musical term that means the same note, but vibrating at double the pitch. So if this note is a G sharp, so is this one. They're both G sharp. This one just vibrates double the pitch. Now, humans naturally hear octaves. Like if I said to a child, sing this note, la, they're going to go, la. It's just human nature. We can match pitch at different octaves. So it sounds like the same pitch, just vibrating twice the frequency. So we play that octave. And just so you know, as far as this formula, the same formula works from the E string. Let's say we were on 11th fret of the E, over 2, down 2. Works on the A like we just did. Now once we get to the D string, we've got to go over 3, down 2, like this, over 3, down 2, because of the way the guitar is tuned. It's tuned in fourths, except between the G and the B we have a third, and then from the B back to the E we have a fourth again. So that throws everything off, makes the guitar kind of not make sense for a very long time. So anyway, so that's the octave from the D string, and then from the G, same thing, we go over 3, down 2. So from the G, over 3, down 2. From the D, over 3, down 2. From the A, over 2, down 2. And from the E, over 2, down 2. Now that's a great way to find your notes on the guitar. you know, I would recommend you memorize the E and the A string first, and then once you have the E and the A string memorized, you can find the other notes by using octaves. That's just one technique for finding the notes. Like, let's say you're playing a G chord here, and you want to find another G chord. Well, you know, okay, here's a G root. Okay, here's a G. So then from there, I can find another G. There's a G chord too. So something to keep in your back pocket. All right, so now the trick to playing octaves effectively is muting the strings that you don't want sounding out. So when I go like this, I'm strumming pretty freely, all 6 strings actually, or maybe 4, maybe 5, whatever. I'm not really worrying about it because I'm muting all the other strings. So first you want to be able to use your first finger to mute all the other strings. So if you put your first finger on the 11th fret and you play that note, you should be able to mute the low E with the tip of the finger, and then the other 4 strings. It sounds a little messy with the distortion. Let me just clean it up so you could hear it. So when I'm strumming, you're only hearing that G sharp. So you want to try to mute the low E with the tip of your finger, and then the flesh of that first finger just lightly touches the rest of the strings. So you really want to work on that technique. This is not only good for octaves, it's good for power chords. It's good for other intervals, like here's a popular interval, a 10th. We're going to go over this in the song Reptilia. It goes. That technique is playing an interval called a 10th, where you skip over 2 strings and you play the 3rd of the chord and the root. But anyway, so this is a technique worth developing, not just for octaves. So then once you get that first finger down, you want to add the octave. And then you can use that 3rd finger to kind of double up on the muting, just to make extra sure. I'm using that tip as kind of touching the D string, and the kind of flesh on the back of my finger is touching the B string. And that's it. Now some people use 1st and 3rd finger. I actually, even though I did it that way naturally without thinking about it, I mostly use my 1st finger and my pinky. So now we just use that octave to go through the melody again. So thinking of where the first finger is, we have on the A string, we have 11, 11, 9, 7, 9, 4, 7, 5, 4, 2, 4, 5, 7 on the E, 7, 5, 7, 5, E first, and then A. And that's it. A great exercise that you could do as far as trying to figure out any melody is play it in all the different positions, and then make sure you understand the framework that goes along with how you're playing it. So the best thing to do really would be figure it out by ear, but then identify the shape that you're using. So now you understand the shape and you're developing your ear at the same time. So one thing you can do is download my free PDF, the 5 shapes and 7 modes of the major scale, and try to play this melody in every single shape. So I showed you shape 5. So in shape 5 we had right? Now you can do that in all the other shapes. Earlier in the video I played it in shape 5. And then yeah, there we go. So that's it in shape 5. Go through all the shapes. That will really free you up when you put your ear together with the shapes all over the fretboard. You're not going to feel constricted to one place, and you're also not going to learn a riff and the riff starts and ends with the riff. The riff is going to become part of a greater, bigger picture, and you'll have the freedom to take that riff in different places because you're not just seeing it as this isolated thing. It's just that riff. You're going to see how it relates to everything you know on guitar. Before I go, I would like to extend a huge thank you to all of the PAL Music patrons at patreon.com/PALmusic. Thank you for your ongoing support, and I'd like to give a personal shout out to William Spencer, Cam Chernichon, and Robert McCain. Thank you. All right, everybody, have fun, happy playing. I apologize if you could see all the sweat on me. It's over 90 degrees here in Texas, and I shut off the AC so that you don't have to hear it in this video. All right, have a good one, and I'll see you guys next time.